How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review. Today we're going to be reviewing this 2017 Mercedes Benz C300 4MATIC. This is the four-door trim of the 4MATIC. Essentially, it is the same as all the other C300s of this year in having that 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, but we'll get to more of the drivetrain in a second. But initially, just talking about the interior, one thing that I really like about just Mercedes-Benz in general, it doesn't have to do with any of their specific models, but obviously they're a luxury brand, so they're going to have a ton of different creature comforts. And for a 2017 model, it doesn't have anything too crazy, too out of the ordinary, but it definitely has a lot of different stuff. All of the seat controls, I love how they're on kind of like the door here, all the different adjustments that you could do. The heated seat button is on the door as well, and I'm pretty sure there's another button there too if you guys, or if you have a trim that basically has like the cooled seats, but unfortunately this C300 does not have the cooled seats. It just has the heated ones, but still is really nice in here. Now the C300, it is one of, I guess, the lower models for Mercedes, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So a couple of things that I just don't really like in here are kind of like the wood paneling. I feel like they kind of cheaped out on that. It feels much more plasticky than some of the, I guess, more higher end cars that I've had on the channel. However, it still does look really nice. And for a more affordable like luxury car, if you are into luxury vehicles and that's your thing and you want something really comfortable, this is extremely comfortable to drive. The steering is not really twitchy, but it's very, very smooth. It's almost like smooth to the point where it's a little bit twitchy in a way. Now these C300s, they did come in either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I believe this one is actually all-wheel drive, but do correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. But this is also the one with the 7-speed automatic transmission. They could either come in the 7-speed or the 9-speed for this year, but this one is the 7-speed. Now, probably the biggest thing that I dislike about, I guess, just the overall driving experience of this, and it's really, really kind of finicky, and I'm being very nitpicky here, but the way that, like, the gear selector, it's essentially like a windshield wiper. The windshield wiper is on the left side, as well as the turn signal. All of that is on the left side, but on the right side here, you actually have the, you know, reverse drive, neutral, park, and it's just, I don't know, I've never seen that design on a vehicle before. I'm sure since Mercedes put it on this C300 that there's probably that design as well on a couple other Mercedes models here and there, but for the most part I have never ever seen that on a car before, and I just kind of think that that's a little bit odd. Now, going into the things that I like about this vehicle, and there are actually a decent amount. If you've been subscribed to my channel, you know that I'm not really much of a luxury car fan, so cars like this, I feel like sometimes I don't really do them justice. But I do have to say that the dynamic modes in this car, and as well as the paddle shifters, are really nice. It's good to have a little bit more control of something like this, even though it still is an automatic. But when you put it into Sport Plus mode, it basically changes the shift points just like any other car with Sport or Sport Plus mode. And it actually, you know, jumps a little bit. It's definitely not by any means the fastest thing I've ever driven. It's far from it, but it still is honestly kind of quick. From factory, this 2-liter double overhead cam 4-valve per cylinder turbo inline 4 engine powering this thing actually does make a decent 241 peak horsepower at 5,550 RPMs and 273 peak foot-pounds of torque at 1,300 RPMs. So just that alone, like that 273 foot-pounds of torque at 1,300 RPMs, that is what's making this thing kind of feel, I guess, a little bit faster than what it is, because you don't really see that sort of like low-end torque from a lot of the modern turbo inline 4 engines. And then again, when the turbo kicks in, it kind of just revs up, and this red line is set at a little over 6,000 RPMs on the just gauge right here. So it's not like the highest, you know, red line out there by any means, but it still is pretty nice. It's definitely something that could be fun in traffic. You can, I guess, get yourself into some trouble with. but not anything that's too ridiculous or too like unmanageable or whatever. It's definitely a decent kind of daily driver, I guess. Now, speaking about daily drivability, probably the main thing that I honestly can't really vouch on for this car, just because I feel like Mercedes track record is not so good, has got to be reliability. You know, a lot of people, again, this C300, it's more of, I guess, like the kind of affordable route when you're going for luxury. And it's great and everything. It's fantastic. It drives really awesome. However, there's been a lot of different just head cases of cars that I've heard directly from people that I know, that they're either Mercedes or they're BMW, or they're kind of like these more, I guess, niche luxury brands where you have to send them to a specific shop or whatever if you want to not void the warranty. And yeah, they are a more expensive brand for sure. I mean, Mercedes does have a reputation to, I guess, uphold, and they do have this certain pedigree to their brand. So it's fine, and like that's great and everything, but again, just beware of that if you are, you know, searching for like a used Mercedes, a used BMW, or something of, I guess, that nature. You're gonna want to get something that is reliable. Now, when it comes to the C300, I don't really think that this thing is extremely unreliable, but again, it's not the most reliable, I guess, used car out there on the market right now. It's far from it, but it's also far from being the most unreliable used car on the market. So take that as you will, but at the end of the day, as long as you honestly treat everything the way you're supposed to, and you're up with maintenance and everything, honestly, there shouldn't be any major issues. I know some of these modern turbo inline 4 engines, they kind of wear down a little bit quicker. The lifetime on them is a little bit shorter than some of the older, I guess, more reliable platforms. But that's kind of what you're going to get. Kind of shifting gears here, and now going back and talking a little bit about the performance. This does have a 6-second flat 0 to 60 time, so again, definitely pretty good, especially for something that you'd like to kind of daily drive here and there. And also the curb weight of it, it's just over 3,400 pounds, right at 3,417 pounds technically. So it's not really heavy. It feels light. Honestly, it feels lighter than what it is. I know 3,400 pounds, again, that's not heavy, but it honestly feels really, really light on the road. The steering is extremely responsive, and it's really like a joy to drive some of these cars. I know, again, I did like a Maserati, I did some of the Aston Martins, I've done a couple like luxury cars on the channel here and there, and they're just such a fun, I guess, enjoyable experience. I know right now we're going over some bumps, and you guys can probably tell from the footage, but it's not all over the road. The suspension is very kind of floaty, which, again, if you want something like this to, I don't know, whoever would buy something like this and then track it or something, that's obviously not ideal. It's not the best, I guess, performance-based suspension, but it is extremely comfortable. And when you do have it on that comfort mode, it does change the shift points. It kind of short shifts it, and it just keeps the RPMs down. And it's a nice like weekend kind of getaway car, and also daily driver in one, if I guess I can kind of categorize it like that. Now, even though I said this before, and even though I'm going to say it again, I'm not like the biggest, I guess, Mercedes fan. I know that they do have like an occult following across the world, but I do have to say that this design, this just exterior body design of this generation of the C300, I feel like is so nice. I really love what Mercedes did with this generation. I feel like some of their newer models, as well as some of BMW's newer models with that like pig nose grille that the BMWs have now, I don't really like it. I feel like they're getting away of a little bit of the heritage. But this year, or this generation, whatever, I really just like what Mercedes did. I love the headlight design. I like the front fascia. I like how everything's a little bit more slanted, and then you have the real big Mercedes logos right there in the middle, and everything is just a little bit more slanted, a little bit more aggressive in the front. And then the taillights as well are honestly really nice. They are very similar to the rear end of the Mercedes of, like, you know, the early 2000s or mid 2000s. So I like that they didn't really change a lot. And although some people may think that the design is boring or, you know, kind of cookie cutter, I do honestly kind of like it. I don't really like some of their other generations, but This one, I do think that they did a very, very good job on the design as well. Also, like this car, this specific one that I'm driving right now, it's in the like kind of classic Mercedes silver. Very, very iconic. I feel like Mercedes silver is like right up there with, obviously at a different level, but you know, kind of like how everyone associates Rosso Corso with Ferrari. That's kind of how this silver paint, I feel like, is with the Mercedes model. Everyone sees this silver paint and they just immediately associate it with the brand Mercedes. Now, also just finishing off here, again, this is the, I guess, a little bit, it's a higher trim of the C300, but the C300 in the C-Class lineup, I think, is the lowest one, or the one of the lower ones. So from factory, does just have the 17-inch alloy Mercedes wheels. Also does have just regular kind of standard brakes, just I think 2 piston calipers in the front, single piston calipers in the back, nothing really crazy. Also it does have 225s by 50s R17s all the way around, just all season tires. Again, very, very standard when it comes to that, I guess. But overall, this car is very nice. I really love the interior. I feel like I haven't really gave the interior enough props in this video, but there's just so many different options. And yeah, it's a really good, affordable, used kind of luxury car. I know that Mercedes is one of those brands that tends to you know, kind of drop in value a lot as time goes on. So hopefully, if any of you guys are out there looking for a 2017 C300 on the used car market, you're able to find one within your price range, because again, this can be a very, very good kind of weekend car and daily driver all in one. But anyways, that's pretty much just gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely be sure to leave a like down below. While you're down there, definitely be sure to subscribe as well. It's absolutely free. Turning on post notifications as well. All that stuff really does help me out a ton. Also, let me know if I missed anything down in the comments below, and let me know if you guys think that I got anything wrong. I love hearing your different opinions. And also, if you have one of these, let me know what you like or hate most about it down there. But anyways, again, that's pretty much just gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed today's video, click on either of these links right here to watch a similar video from this channel, or click on the little circle link right there to actually subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. I do appreciate all the support, but thank you for sticking to the end of this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day.